This audiobook series is not legally copyrighted by me. However, if you wish to use any of the audio or images from these videos, please contact me first before using them. If you wish to use any of the audio clips or images on another social media, please let me know first and give me credit for it too. Thank you. Tales of Elements: The Mysterious Islands by Hannah Rose. Dragons of Algoria. Thorntail. Description: wiry, graceful dragons with long, thorn-like horns and back spikes. They have a very sharp and deadly tail spike at the end of their tail. Abilities: can breathe fire, camouflage, and is particularly skilled in stalking their prey. Queen. Queen Tulip. Kingdom. Kingdom of Thorn. A large island almost completely covered in trees. It has the largest forest in Algoria. Ocean Tail. Description: sturdy aquatic dragons with webs between their claws and back spikes. Their scales are most commonly blue, turquoise, or purple. They have a very strong whale-like tail. Abilities: can breathe underwater, swim faster than any other type of dragon, has a poisonous bite, and can store water in their tail for long journeys without water around them. Queen. Queen Seaweed. Kingdom. Kingdom of Ocean. A small island on the surface, but a large underwater palace that no other type of dragon can get to. Ice Tail. Description: very thin, agile dragons with long icicle-like horns and back spikes. Their scales are most commonly white, light blue, or lavender. They have a very long and sharp icicle-like spear at the end of their tail. Abilities: can breathe a deadly ice breath that can freeze their target frozen solid, can withstand the coldest temperatures, has the sharpest claws and tail out of all the types of dragons. Queen. Queen Blizzard. Kingdom. Kingdom of Ice. A large snow-covered island with the biggest castle of all the kingdoms. Bonetail. Description: small and defensive dragons, has a skeleton pattern imprinted onto their scales, has black eyes with a white, sometimes red, iris and pupil. Their scales are always shades of black and white. They have a small bone-shaped spike at the end of their tail. Abilities: can breathe fire, can, when in a dark place, look like they are a moving dragon skeleton, can curse objects, possess their victims when they are about to die, and can see ghosts when they are of age. Queen. Queen Bone Snapper. Kingdom. Kingdom of Bone. A small, dead-looking island that is made mostly of stone. Stonetail. Description: heavily built dragons with large wings and claws. Their scales are most commonly brown or gray. They have a large stone-like spike at the end of their tail. Abilities: can breathe fire and is the strongest type of dragon. Queen. Queen Mountain. Kingdom. Kingdom of Stone. A very large island with many mountains and hills, made mostly of rock. Goldtail. Description: small, graceful dragons with a delicate body structure but with strong wings and claws. Their scales are always golden, but they have unique colored claws, horns, and back spikes, with a jewel-like tail spike at the end of their tail. Abilities: can breathe a golden mist that hardens instantly the moment it comes in contact with a solid, can claw open stone with their strong claws. Queen. Queen Glimmer. Kingdom. Kingdom of Gold. Has a small island on the surface, but a huge gold mine underground. Flametail. Description: long, graceful dragons who are very tribal and wear a lot of tribal accessories. Their scales are most commonly red, orange, or yellow. They have long curved horns and a long neck, with a flaming tail spike at the end of their tail. Abilities: can breathe the hottest fire out of all the types of dragons, can communicate with their ancestors, and can survive in the hottest climates. Queen. Queen Magma. Kingdom. Kingdom of Flame. A large volcanic island surrounded by palm trees and a tropical beach. Stormtail. Description: defensive and extremely smart dragons with big wings and very good fighting skills. Their scales can be any shade of gray with yellow veins in their horns, underbelly, and wings, along with a glowing yellow tail barb that is the most dangerous weapon in all the kingdoms. Abilities: can breathe lightning, fly faster than any other type of dragon, and has a deadly lightning tail barb that can electrocute their targets from the inside out when stabbed. Queen. Queen Thunder. Kingdom. Kingdom of Storm. A very long island in the sky surrounded by clouds, made mostly of stone, but has a palace made of marble. Chapter 1. Over 300 million years later. A swift breeze carried through the forest, ruffling the long green grass and making the trees sway far above the ground. Staying silent and alert, a dragon slowly crept forward, her camouflaged scales hiding her from her prey. She stalked behind a tree, peering out the other side to see a deer standing in a clearing not too far away. The camouflaged dragon silently crept up on the deer. Then, when she was about a tail length away, she leaped forward onto the deer's back and bit down hard on its neck. The deer tried to run away, but its legs clopped under it and it fell to the ground, dead. The dragon got off of her prey and shifted her scales to a light brown gold color. She put her arms around the stomach of the deer and started to spread her wings so she could lift into the air. It was a little heavy, and it took some work, for the deer was half her size, and the thorn tail was not fully grown, but she still managed to keep herself in the air as she flew out of the clearing and into a more dense part of the forest. Up ahead, there were small huts made of branches, leaves, and mud. As the thorntail continued on, the huts slowly started to turn into nicer-looking tree houses. Then she took a side path through the small village that led to a small glade. All around the gold-brown dragon were others just like her, dragons of all colors walking and flying, deep reds, royal blues, bright pinks, and yellows of every shade. They were thorntails. They had the most beautiful dragons and the most beautiful kingdom. She started to drag her deer to a prey pile in a nest of sticks not too far away, when she heard a voice behind her. "Hello, Princess Rosemary." The brown gold dragon, Rosemary, turned around to see a dragon with dark red scales, with wings that were drifting between orange and yellow. "Hello, Oak," Rosemary said politely, tipping her head. She remembered Oak to be her mother's, Queen Tulip, most trusted advisor. "I have come to tell you that your mother has requested to see you," Oak informed Rosemary. "Uh-oh, that's probably not a good thing," she thought with anxiety. "Thank you," Rosemary said, dipping her head again. Once the Thorntail Princess put her deer in the prey pile, she started down another path that leads deeper into the forest. When the path ended, there was another clearing, smaller than the last. Overhead there were a few trees bending together to form a canopy, letting green light filter through, but still keeping out the rain. In the center of the clearing was a large stone with a gleaming emerald encased in the front of it. On top of the stone lay a beautiful thorntail. Green-tinted sunlight gleamed off of her turquoise and indigo scales. Her thorn-studded tail curved around the rock, lightly brushing the jewel. She wore a smaller version of the emerald around her neck as a locket. All the queens from the different kingdoms had a jewel, to keep their islands alive and healthy. Queen Tulip had a stone tablet in her talons that she was reading off of, but she looked up when she saw Rosemary approaching. Rosemary's mother smiled warmly at her. "Hello, Rosemary," she said. "You wanted to see me?" Rosemary asked. "Yes, I wanted to talk to you about your crowning ceremony." Rosemary remembered reading about the crowning ceremony. She read that once the heir to the throne was 10, the current queen would step down and let the new heir run the kingdom, while the old queen retired. Rosemary realized that her 10th birthday was only a few moons away. "More particularly, I wanted to talk to you about your future mate," Tulip continued. "I don't want to talk about it," Rosemary thought, with an internal eye roll. "I've been looking through the list of dragons around your age that live in this camp. The one that I'm thinking about is Root, Oak's son." Rosemary remembered meeting the arrogant, headstrong Thorntail only a few times, but she knew she didn't want to take him as her mate. "What do you think of him?" Tulip asked, studying Rosemary's face. "He's all right, I guess," Rosemary replied unenthusiastically. "I don't want you to be with someone you don't like," Tulip said, noticing Rosemary's lack of enthusiasm. "Do I have to take a mate right now?" Rosemary asked. Tulip looked at her daughter in surprise, then frowned. "Now you're starting to sound like Princess Waterfall," the Queen criticized. "I'm nothing like Waterfall," Rosemary declared. She once read about the spoiled ocean-tail princess who ran away from her kingdom and fell in love with a thorntail. They were sent to the island of Misery by Queen River, the current ocean-tail queen of Waterfall's time. Waterfall and Shrub, her mate, had a son by the name of Kelp. He was the first hybrid from the time of the Skelestorm, and the only hybrid on the island. There were only a handful of other dragons there, which were all defective in some way. Kelp and his family lived there for the rest of their lives. He eventually had a thorntail who could not change the color of her scales as a mate. They had a daughter who was the first ever double-tail in the history of Algoria. She had the ability to not only change the color of her scales, but to morph part of her bodies into ocean-tail body parts. Since she was mostly thorntail, she did not have very many ocean-tail features about her, but later discovered that she could grow webs, gills, and an ocean-tail tail. Ever since then, double-tails became slightly more common, and there were more hybrids, some of which were found in the kingdoms and were sent to the island of Misery. Over the years, the population grew to where there was currently about 1,000 dragons living there. "I just don't really have an interest in anyone right now," Rosemary explained. "That's because you don't socialize enough. If you talked to more dragons and got to know them, instead of hiding out in the library, you would probably find some of them interesting." "I guess," Rosemary muttered. "Can you go find Root and maybe spend a little time with him, so you can at least get to know each other better? Who knows, maybe you'll be a good match," Tulip suggested. "I highly doubt that," Rosemary thought bitterly. "Sure," she said instead. The Thorntail Princess glanced back at her mother, then headed back down the winding path towards the village.